Let us welcome our speaker for the day, Ms. Amrita Patnaik. Ms. Amrita Patnaik is currently working as a HR manager in Atos Syntel. Ms. Amrita Patnaik has a total 7 years of industry experience with various functions like talent acquisition, employee engagement, succession planning, rewards and recognitions, in organizational culture, payroll, compensation and benefit. Ms. Amrita Patnaik has done her bachelor's in business administration and MBA with specialization in human resource management from SRM University. She was honored with People HR title by one of her previous organizations in 2014. Ms. Amrita Patnaik has actively participated and presented the company's best practices and new features in NASSCOM Product Conclave. She was awarded by Madras Management Association for paper presentation. Ms. Amrita Patnaik has certifications in SAP and HRIS. Outside work, Ms. Amrita Patnaik spends her time in writing blogs, painting, and animal welfare. She is here with us with an interesting topic for the day. We welcome you, ma'am. Now, I would like to introduce our head of the department, Human Resource Management, DG Vaishnav College, Dr. N.C. Martin. He is a highly experienced academician and has about 20 years of academic and administrative experience as a professor, HOD, dean, and registrar. He did his postgraduate in labor management and PhD in labor laws from Tamil Nadu Institute of Labor Studies. He started his career as a lecturer from the same institution. He held various positions in arts and science, engineering, and medical college. He has held academic positions in various education institutions such as Sri Chandrababu Jain College as an assistant professor and HOD of MSW department, Sam's College of Engineering and Technology as a professor and HOD of MBA department. He was also the placement officer for the entire division of Sam's College of Engineering and Technology. During his tenure, he successfully placed engineering and management graduates in top-notch companies of manufacturing and service sectors across the country. He continued his career in St. Joseph College of Arts and Science as a Dean of Academics and in L.V. Prasad Film School, which is one of the best film schools in Asia, working as a registrar. He acted as a jury representing the Employees Federation of Southern Indian for the election of companies for the best practices for the year 2018-19. He has added number of research papers and publications to his credit and is expert in subject of labor legislation and industrial relations. He has given centum results in various HR specialized subjects in the university examination. We welcome you, sir. This meeting is recorded for educational purpose. In case of any doubts or questions, the participant can unmute themselves or type the question in the chat box. Now I request our HOD, Dr. N.C. Martin, to speak a few words about the topic for the day. Over to you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, Karthik, for the introduction.
Yes.
So very happy, good evening to one present here for the webinar. So on behalf of management, Sri Ashok Kumar Mudraji and our principal, Dr. S. Santosh Babu, I welcome all the participants, dear students, professors, so HR fraternities for the 53rd series of webinar. I sincerely welcome and a special welcome to our resource person for the day, Ms. Amrita Patnaik, HR Manager at Central. Thank you, ma'am, for giving a consent to host a webinar for our students on a wonderful topic of diversity, equity, and inclusion. So, diversity, equity, and inclusion. So, these words are inherently interrelated, but they are also different concepts. So, any organization while planning diversity, equity, and inclusion strategy, so first of all, they should understand the differences and they should see that how they are connecting each other. The discrimination in the workplace is another a common outcome of diversity. So without inclusion, so if an organization hire a diverse range of employees, so they have to consider everyone's needs along with everyone's unconscious biases. So only inclusion is very important. So discrimination in the workplace occurs when someone is treated unfairly due to their race, gender, sexuality, religion, disability, or any other characteristics. So which is protected by various legislations. So diversity refers to how a diverse workforce is employed by an organization, covering a large number of different characteristics like, as I mentioned, race, culture, gender, sexuality, and experience, and so on. And all. So inclusion is where all the employees feel like they belong to the organization. So belongingness implies that everyone in the organization have the opportunity to voice their opinions, and they don't feel they have been excluded on the basis of their identity, and that they see themselves what is reflected in their company values. Equity refers to the policies the organization is framing to support the diversity and inclusion. So the policies are framed in order to recognize every individual because each individual are unique, and the organization has to properly identify the needs and have to provide the same. So equity means there should not be a gender pay gaps or no bias in any form of HR practices like onboarding, etc. And if there is any bias in any of the HR practices, so the organization has to immediately attend to it. So equity and equality are not the same, but may first appear like both words are one and the same, but they have the difference. If you see the equality in the workplace, so equality assumes that all the employees are the same and treats them as such. While this sounds inclusive, it's actually extremely open to a bias and ignores demographic specific needs and also other specific needs also. While equity in the workplace, so equity recognize that we are all different and that's what's make each one of us great. So rather than blanket policies, so equity-led businesses gives attention to individual needs and try to reduce the bias faced by the minority groups by way of rebalancing structures for a sustainable growth. So with this, I conclude and leave the sessions for a resource person to throw much light and share experience on this topic of diversity, equity, and inclusion. Thank you. All the best.
Thank you, Dr. Martin. I think you have rightly set the context, and you have, given a very brief idea about the whole topic today. Well, so let's then get started. Thank you very much, first of all, for such a warm welcome, and thank you everyone for participating in this webinar. I would personally like to welcome each one of you today. I hope all of you are safe and your family is safe, given the fact that all of us are struggling at this point of time. So I hope all of you are healthy, happy, and wherever you are. So today, like Dr. Martin said, we are going to talk about a topic which is very, very essential in our day-to-day life, just in an organization. Also, where do we live? Where do we, in our own community, in our own country, everywhere it has got impact. So we are going to talk about something that I feel is essential for everyone to know. So I would like to say that this is not a topic which I can comprehensively cover in an hour or two, but I will definitely try and cover at least a major portion of this topic and give you a very, very fair understanding about why and how these topics are, why and how these concepts are very important in our life. So I request all of you to make your own journey to be able to relate to today's discussion and succeed. So that's the ultimate goal that all of us have and all of us try to achieve. So with so much happening around us in the world today, where somehow we have not been able to achieve or explore the opportunities around us. We are not able to explore ourselves. We are not able to meet our near ones, dear ones. It makes everything very hard and complicated, right? But the journey never stops under whatever circumstances we have, or under whatever limited resource, limited time that we have. Journey never stops. Each day comes up with a new challenge or new adventures. For me, at least, I would start my day in such a way that, every day I plan my day, I end up in having so many meetings, I end up in discovering so many new concepts. So uh, ultimately, it helped me to reach wherever I am today at this moment. So when I was thinking about this, which topic to choose for this today's webinar discussion, the first thing that came to my mind was belongingness. You might think, okay, belongingness, this is not part of the discussion. We talked about equity, inclusion, diversity. Where from belongingness come from? So the whole idea behind belongingness that I wanted to deliver to all of you is that this word itself, belongingness itself, gives us a satisfaction. So we feel very good. We feel very happy when somebody or somewhere we feel that we belong to this community, belong to this country, belong to this person, right? But if I suddenly start talking about belongingness, it might not make sense. So I thought I would first talk about the key areas before belongingness, which is your diversity, equity, and inclusion. I'm not sure if all of you have heard about these approaches and concepts before, because few years back, we were not paying so much of attention, or we were not very focused about these concepts. We were very process driven. We were very driven. But now world has come to a place where this diversity, inclusion, equity, these are the not just a concept anymore. These are the DNA of an organization. Without them, an organization cannot achieve any success. They cannot achieve any target. So the focus has very much gone to DEI, where DEI has become a mindset more than a concept and approach, I would say. Right. So I would request someone to present the PPT so that I can give you a little more idea about what diversity is, why are we even talking about all of that. So
Sure,
can
ma'am. Just a
somebody help
minute.
me with that? Yeah.
Just a minute.
So while Bhagyalakshmi is going to share her screen and show us the PPT, let's talk about the initial major key point, that is diversity. So when we think diversity, first thing that comes to our mind is, as a person, I need to be diverse. People are diverse. No, people cannot be diverse. People are individual. Every person is different from each one of us. So people cannot diverse. But the organization, community, school, college, society, country, all of these can be diverse. And that's when we will be able to achieve the actual goal or success, say. So let's go to the diversity slide. Can you move on to the next slide, Bhagyalakshmi? Well, so here I wanted to talk a little more on diversity. Before I go to the fact of how diversity, equity, and inclusions are impacted at workplace or been used at workplace, I wanted to give a little more description or definition about these terms. So when we talk about diversity, this is the term that we oftenly use when we talk about bringing people together across culture, communities, countries. It's basically about a quantitative representation of difference. I know there are so many differences. I know there are, even in this platform today, we might have a lot of diversity. We can see by ourselves. We have people from different part of the country, different language. This is all about that I am coming to. Right? So it's about measuring how many women, men, different culture, disability of people are available in the workplace or in the community or society. The concept of diversity is all about acceptance and respect. That's the end goal of diversity. So diversity can be present within our culture itself. So if I have to talk about diversity as theory, then we have cultural diversity, we have ethnicity diversity. So how do we different, or how do we see that, this is where I need to imply my diversity? So we categorize as gender, age, disability, ethnicity, religion. So the discrimination that we have in our mind, right? So for an example, a diversity of species within the ecosystem, a diversity of clothes within a closet, or diversity of opinion or experience, all that matters when it comes to bringing so many people together. So diversity is the presence of difference within the given setting, right? Moving on. Next slide, please. Let's talk about equity. So like in the beginning of the session, Dr. Martin said, equity is basically the fair treatment that we require. So if I talk about only diversity, you might think that, that's it. We are treating everybody equally. Everybody is with the differences we have accepted. That's it. Why do we talk about equity? Towards the end of the session, you will be able to understand that, why all these aspects are very important. Without equity, diversity is incomplete, I would say. So equity is a process of treating everybody fairly. It basically defines the essentially our process of recognizing the historical legacy and the culture of reality, which is discrimination, that people from marginal communities have been facing all this while. It is essentially recognizes that not everyone starts from the same place. It is very, very important for us to understand. Opportunities will be given. Opportunities are very widely available in this current generation, but not everybody will start from the same place. So we should give that fair chance to the person to start wherever they are, whoever they are. That's what equity is all about. Right? So not everyone starts from the same place given the historical legacy or discrimination which impacts their reality. So when we dig deep into equity, we also come to know or learn about our system of supremacy, power, privilege. So now I think you can relate equity. Without equity, diversity is definitely possible. It's a very critical area which, in all areas of sustainability impacts, considering whether it is your environment, your economic growth, or your ethical growth, or the bottom line that we always say, right? People, profit, planet. So without having a fair treatment and diversity culture, it is very much hard for us to survive. Then moving on. Can we move on to the next slide? So I was very happy that when Dr. Martin covered this part as well, because most of us, when we talk about equity, when we start describing what equity is, most of us get confused, or they think that it's almost similar to equality, but absolutely no. Equity is the process of eliminating conscious or unconscious bias or discrimination. Ensures that everyone get equal opportunity, which is fair, right? Fair is the bottom line here. Equity is very critical in all the areas of sustainability, right? Now, after understanding equity, let's talk a little bit about equality. How is it different? So this picture will show you or give you a little bit clarity, right? That is why I wanted to bring an example here to make it a little easier for all of us to understand. So when we say that, the idea of equity is that everyone receives same or equal. Idea of equality is everyone receives same or equal. That is called equality. Whether it is a boy or girl, a man or man, everybody receives equal opportunity. While equity, on the other hand, aims that all of it makes fair. So in the example, if you look at three of them, you three picture over here, they all have difference in their size, right? And they all have been asked to plug a fruit from the tree. So if we talk about equality first, let's example this scenario where this fruit is the opportunity, wide opportunity, which has been equally spread among these three people who are different from each other in terms of their height. Equal resource have been provided, which is the, so they have been asked to stand on the box and pluck the fruit. But is it possible? The person who is standing in the last, who is little shorter, will struggle or might not reach there to pluck fruit. So is this approach right? I mean, if I talk about diversity with equality, I don't think I will be able to reach the end goal, which is success, which is belongingness. So that is where I bring equity to my organization, or to our whole society, where the opportunity is given based on our differences, accepting our differences. The second picture shows us that the person who is shorter gets a bigger box to stand on, so that everybody has, fair chance to reach to the fruit and pluck and eat it. So that is the difference that I am trying to talk about here, right? Okay, moving on to the next slide. So the major thing that I personally feel, or in my organization, what I try to do with my employees, I ensure that more than people are, or my employees are being treated equally, I give more importance to where people are treated fairly. Everybody gets a fair chance to perform, showcase their talent. We all would have studied, or in fact in MBA or in your courses, you would have studied about competency mapping, right? Without a competency map, we will not be able to hire a person or position that person in the right place. And post positioning that person in the right place, it is all the more important for us to figure out if we have given the fair chance to that person to perform or outperform, right? Then coming to conclusion, now it is time for connect all the dots and reach to our destination, which is belongingness, right? So inclusion, while diversity is a very quantitative representation, inclusion is more importantly about qualitative experience around the differences. When we talk about inclusion, it extends to which people can bring their own true selves, their cultural selves, or into to their interaction, whether it is an organization, school, college, community. Inclusion is extremely important because it is about the qualitative experience. If I talk to 3 different people in my community today, I should be feeling that, my opinion, my ideas have been taken or accepted by them, provided whoever I am being given the rights or fair chance to explain who I am. And whether people accept it, do not accept, that is a very different topic. Let's not even go there. But at least I need to have my, fair chance to talk or keep my point, having differences in mind. Right? The focus is on both. You are be able to who you are and still be able to achieve or attract opportunity. You must be thriving, flourishing, and excelling with your own competencies on the basis of your difference, which is very important. Even if there are differences, you are still getting an equal chance and fair chance to outperform. Creating an atmosphere where all individuals and groups are welcomed, respected, supported, and valued. So inclusion is seen as an universal human right, right? The aim of inclusion is to empower all people irrespective of races, gender, disability, medical condition, or their opportunities, their political opinion, everything that is to possibly be considered. So this approach is given equal access to get rid of discrimination and intolerance. It removes the biased approach from the organization or from your society, from your community, from your school, colleges. It affects all the aspects of public life and impacts your reality. Inclusive design aims to remove the barrier that create undue effort and separation. It enables everyone to participate equally, confidently, independently independently in every activities. So when I say, qualitative experience, quantitative approach, it is very, easy for me to say it, but I want all of you to relate in your personal life, in your journey. That is why when I talk about DEI, so in org term, in organizational term, we can one of you unmute and confirm if you're able to hear me clearly?
Yeah, yes, ma'am. You're audible now.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so so what I was saying, when in my other forums, when I talk about these concepts, I always say this one thing: this is just not approach or strategy for me. This is a journey. This is not even a destination. We are way far from the destination. Let's start the journey. Let's begin the journey. So now it's time for us to connect all the dots, right? So when we got a little understanding about what diversity is, what equity is, what inclusion is. So basically, in a simple word, diversity is all the way you bring all different people with their differences in one common platform. Equity is a fair treatment. You give the fair treatment, fair opportunity, fair advancement to people who are in that particular group. Inclusion is an approach where you have the power or voice, or you have the authority to make your decision. Nobody will stop you. So there is this famous saying which I thought I will put it here also for you. If diversity is being invited to a party, then inclusion is being asked to dance, and equity is being asked to ensure that everyone has got equal access to the dance floor. These terms we usually use very often in our organization, so that it makes all of us easy to understand why we are driving it all this while. So now when we covered this major factors, now this is time for us to talk about the outcome all of this. So we talked about diversity, equity, and inclusion. We understood that this is what a key essential area that we are focusing in today's generation, in today's world, in today's emerging and growing market. What is the outcome of it? Why are we doing it? Can we go on to the next slide, please? This is the outcome. You call it belongingness. So belonging, like in the beginning I said, the word itself gives us an inner satisfaction. Oh my God, I belong to something. Oh my God, I achieved something. Oh my God, I belong to this part of the group. I belong to my family. It is very much important. Without that, no relationship, no person can survive. It is the concept of being accepted. A sense of belonging in humankind is a need, just like as your food, shelter. It is that important. Many surveys have proved that fostering the sense of belonging in the workplace has been the major key behind success. When you make your employee feel welcome, when you make your employee feel involved, when you reward that employee for whatever good work that person has done, then obviously the productivity increased. Obviously their contribution towards business will increase. You don't have to do a micromanagement. You don't have to go and check with them whether they have done it or they have not done it. They will feel like it is my task, it is my business, it is my home. When we do when we come home, we do things without asking. We make food for our family. We clean our house. Nobody asks us to do that, right? But when it comes to office, when it comes to company, there are many cases where I had noticed my employees will come by 10 o'clock in the morning sharp and log out by 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock sharp, not even a 1 minute here and there. I used to wonder why. There are so many friends here. All of us are chit-chatting, talking, having coffee together. Why not these people are getting involved? That concerned me a lot. Then I started investigating and talking to them. What is your problem? I am not asking you to put your additional effort or stay more long time at work. Then the employee replied to me saying that, no, I have achieved my target. What more do you expect? I was like, no, I am not accepting this kind of culture in my company, at least. I am not a person who can treat an employee as a robot. You can't do your job and go. No, you need to belong to this place. You have been hired to perform a task, which is fine. You are doing this task for your business. You are doing this task to achieve, to grow the business, which is absolutely fine. But what are you getting in return? Just the money? No. More than that, there are a lot of things involved, because you spend more hours outside your home. You spend 8 to 9 hours in your office. So that is your new world, right? So that's why I thought belongingness is very, very important. No matter wherever we are, I cannot survive in a place if I don't feel that I belong to that place. I am still okay with people not outperforming, but I want everybody to feel that they belong to that place. They own that thing. They own that project. They own that business. They own that company, and they perform. All of you would have, might have heard about this famous line that, people, employee don't resign a company for a company's sake. They resign for the manager. Lot of quotes on that. I used to wonder, really? Then I experienced myself. Yes, of course, it matters a lot. If my leader today is not paying attention to what I am doing, if my leader today is not making me feel that I'm welcomed, included, valued, then what am I doing here? Why am I here? These questions often arrive to our mind. Right? So that is why belongingness has become a very big exercise in most of the organization right now. It has become a mandatory course for some of the organization. In some of the organization, they are driving as a new change management. In some of the organization, they are making it as a practice, best practice, I would say. Right? So everybody has their own way of driving this DEI concept. Now, let's talk a little more about belongingness before we go to the implications or the actual DEI concept, how it is used in organizations. So, belongingness is the experience of being accepted, included, and valued, like I said. A fundamental human motivation. Belonging positively influences individuals' health. Of course, if it belongingness can give you a good health, it can give you a bad health. Because if you start feeling that you are out of this group, you are doing so much, but nobody is valuing that, you start developing a lot of negativity within yourselves, which will impact yourself, your family, your children, your friends, everybody out there, whoever is connected to you personally, professionally. The sense of belongingness has become a success mantra for majority of the company. When we talk about Maslow's hierarchy theory, all of us would have studied, and if anybody who's out of this domain wouldn't have heard about this approach, but those who are part of HR fraternity would have definitely heard this. So what does it say? The most basic needs on this hierarchy are psychological, like food and shelter. One of those are met, people will fulfill their safety needs, which includes your employment, health, personal security. Then comes love and belongingness, followed by esteem, and finally self-actualization, which is the fulfillment of a personal potential. If all these factors have been covered and taken care properly, you don't have to worry. You don't have to worry as in I am addressing this you as an organization. If all these factors have been covered, then organization need not worry about their overall revenue, overall performance, and all of that. This all will be taken care. Because when we build a company, when we start a company, nobody will say that this company will survive without a good employee. And most importantly, this is my personal view. I'm not sure how many of out there will agree with that. For me, no employee is bad. Employees cannot be bad. It is up to us how we, extend the opportunity to the person. We have to make a right fit for the right position. If I am hired today in a company and given some task to do which is out of my domain, I might lose interest. Somebody has to say that, or at least train me or provide me the exposure to learn or figure out that no, I am not able to do this job because I don't know how to do. Rather making me feel that I don't belong to this group because I don't know something. Right? So that is why all these things are very much crucial when it comes to an organization and hiring a new talent. So, like I said in the beginning, belongingness is the outcome of diversity, equity, and inclusion, where everyone truly feel empowered to speak up. It makes a change. It makes a difference, right? Creating a culture of belonging is not just a moral mandate. Now it is a business imperative. It is a need of our today's generation or culture. Then moving on, let's talk a little more about how diversity, equity, and inclusion has played a bigger role in today's organization. For last slide, please. Can you move on? Okay. So if you all remember, in the beginning, I started saying that DEI concept is just not an initiative in today's organization. It is more of a mindset right now. It has become a global mandate or organizational mandate approach. We have to ensure that we have an equal ratio of male and female. We have to ensure that we invite and welcome all the communities that is out there. Lot of organizations today have started driving this DEI and extended help or extended their hand to out of organization. Example, Microsoft. They drive diversity and they take it very seriously, where they ensure that they have the equal proportion of female and male crowd in their company. But that's not enough, because they also focus, if I have 5 male managers in this particular team, I will ensure I have 5 female managers also in the team. Opportunity is given, everybody is getting the fair treatment, but everybody should grow together. When everybody is growing together, that is when we will be able to achieve the success. Right? Organizational diversity brings together individual of different experiences, different educational backgrounds, qualification, age, group, etc., etc. When a person joins the company, right, all these factors have been covered. Equity is measured by comparing the ratio of contribution, that the ratio of contribution of a fair treatment that we have been already talking about. It aims to strike a balance between an employee's input and output in the workplace. If employee is able to find his or her right balance, it would lead to more productive relationship with the management. That is very much true, because we see it day and night out in our organization. Why it is very important. That's why we conduct so many sessions. We interact with the employee on day-to-day basis to find out whether the person is feeling comfortable with what they're doing, because end of the day, it impacts your overall business. End of the day, it impacts the person's emotions. Both the parties get impacted. Right? So equity is concerned with the fairness of organizational practice and policies. It is just not an outcome, I would say, but a process focused on continuous effort being taken to ensure equal access to opportunities for growth, development, and promotion. When I gave an example of Microsoft, right, they just not focus on diversity in terms of gender. Hiring is fine. You have diverse the whole of organization, but are you giving the equal opportunity to both the genders? That is also equally important. Because whether you are a male or you're female or you're disabled, you are transgender, you are putting effort. You are putting best of your effort. Best of your knowledge has been given. Same energy has been, put into the work. Then why not give this equal opportunity? Why not you elevate the person who is putting effort? That is why sometimes the leaders play a vital role here. They drive DEI to an extent where they ensure that everybody, every individual requirement or wishes have been fulfilled. There are plenty of survey that happens in day and night in an organization where leaders would try to figure out that if my employee is happy. Employee happiness is that important because it's a key success to us. So there is a business term that we usually use is a happy customer is a happy company, happy business. So for us, I would say a happy employee makes a good business. Because if I don't have a resource who is happy and healthy, then how will I reach to a target where I will make revenue? As simple as that. An individual satisfaction at workplace is directly linked to the effort that she or he is putting and what she is getting out of it. Whether she's been promoted, whether she is getting salary hike, whether she's been recognized, given a reward, that factor we cannot miss. So if I put everything together, it will definitely give you the belongingness. If I take care of all these aspects, it will definitely make you feel that you belong to this group, you belong to this company. A sense of belonging it's a proven fact. It has been more valuable than your pay. It has been more valuable than what you are earning. I mean, if I have given X number of salary in a company where I am not treated well, I would definitely not want to work there. It's okay. I will move on. So it's not my loss. It's the loss of the company where they're losing out a good resource, isn't it? Moving on. Let's talk a little more on this. Can we go to the next slide, please? Okay. So when we covered these aspects of organizational approach where diversity, equity, and inclusion have played a bigger role, I would also want to add a little more on inclusion approach. So inclusion is the achievement of work environment which all individuals are treated fairly, respectfully to fulfill organizational success, right? It refers to a person's experience or sense of belonging and value in the workplace. Like diversity and inclusion is an outcome of that reflects whether the culture or climate of an organization is welcoming, trustworthy, or respectful. In other countries there used to be a session where in my organization recently it started. So we have given a platform to all the employees across the globe, since it's a France-based company. So, but we have extended our branches in overall all part of the country, all part of the world. I mean, so we have recently launched this, and we have given this platform to everybody where people from different color, people from different country, people from with their disability, people from different gender, people from their different socio-economic thoughts can present their experience in that platform and nobody will judge. That is the idea behind this whole program that we launched was nobody will judge. You can say anything that you want. You are welcome to express your thoughts. You are welcome to express your feelings. It's okay to be sad and it's okay to laugh out. It's fine, right? So likewise, many companies like one example I gave for Microsoft, there are few companies like PayPal. They are driving initiative called Recharge, where they are giving bundle of initiatives to increase their diversity ratio. So they encourage women to pursue their career in technology space, where this initiative is a 6 weeks or 7 weeks program where they ensure that the the female crowd, the women crowd, who are not given much opportunity to learn, study engineering or learn programming language. They can join that course, participate in that course, and get well versed and get placed in that company. Accenture is also, driving something similar called High Tech Women Rise program. So you might think that, why there is so much of focus given to that women ratio, because it's like I said in the beginning, it's a legacy that has been followed all this while. We have to break it somewhere, and it's been broken right now, I'm sure. Now the proportion of male and female has been balanced everywhere. Now it is all about driving it, not stopping it. Everything is set right now. All that we have to do is put an effort in driving this whole process, right? So now I wanted to also talk about a little bit how we take these initiatives within the organization. So when all of you complete your studies, or some of you are already working, or some of you are doing your internship, or will look for a job, why these things will be very important for you? Because you might face some situations where you might feel that, oh, I don't belong to this place. That's when I want you to remember, if you think you don't belong to this place, then you better not be there. You have your own talent, you have your own skill set. That is something nobody can steal it from you. That is all yours. Go to a place where you are welcome by those differences. You are welcome with your own abilities and capabilities and competencies. You are accepted with your flaws, and you can make your own voice, you can make your own choice. Everybody have equal right to make their own choice, right? So now, coming to the strategy, how do we implement this in a company? So we talked a lot about this whole concept. I'm sure all of you would have got a little fair understanding about this. How do we implement this? Now I want my company to be diverse. Now I want to drive this DEI in my company. Where do I start? So these are the major steps that I or any company would rather, or all of you can rather follow. First thing first, reveal the relevant opportunities. Where I was talking about the competency mapping, it is the right fit. When you hire a person, put that person in a place where that person can outperform, their skill set can flourish, right? The first step is about discovery. It involves gaining awareness of the type of diversity. It involves gaining awareness across the group and the context in which diversity, equity, and inclusion play out a vital role. Then people enter the world of work and advance through their careers with unevenness of advantage of opportunity, privilege, and power. That's where equity comes into the picture. You have to elevate the equity portion of it, so that you ensure that there is a fair opportunity. And it is not the same for everyone. Fair opportunity could have a different meaning to somebody else also. When organizational leaders express their motivation as well as the barriers or difficulties or tough parts, the effortless part of equity set a clear goal towards the greater equity, the action that is required in an organization. The signal of a commitment that becomes the foundation of the organization, that is diversity and inclusion efforts. Then you activate the diversity. Like I said, diversity is the collective approach of differences and similarities that includes individual and organizational characteristics, values, belief, experience, backgrounds, behaviors. So by activating the diversity, the process that involves recognizing and engaging differences within the employees. Example, I have different set of people. I have different, I have people from different countries, different regions. I have to bring them all together. There will be differences in terms of their accent, in terms of their language. People might have a lot of ideas in their mind, but they might feel ashamed, or they might feel, little off while presenting their ideas to us. Reason could be just the language is the problem. That is where the leader play a big role. They have to ensure language disparity, whatever that we are talking about today, has a zero value. All you have to do is be yourself. You don't know Newark accent, it's fine. Be yourself, they will understand. You don't know Chinese accent, it's okay. Be yourself, they will understand. You don't know American accent, it's okay. Be yourself. The customer will understand you. That sort of confidence or comfort zone, comfort level, leaders will have to set it for us. When the problem that I see is when I walk into a meeting room, I have different set of people sitting with me and we are discussing about a project or we are discussing about something and everybody is agreeing to me. That is when I have a problem. How can everybody agree to me? Each one of us are different from each other. Definitely the perspective or definitely the ideas that everybody has in their mind cannot be similar. I want everybody to open up and present their ideas. That's where innovations will start. That's when the innovation will bring my business to a next level. I will succeed, right? Imagine when we are 10 different people sitting in a same room, presenting 10 different ideas to the table. What big wonder can we make? All we need is the platform where we are welcomed, valued, and been identified or connected or rewarded or recognized. Then all these aspects have to be led inclusively. Somebody has to lead it, right? So this requires an active, intentional, ongoing effort to promote a full participation and sense of belonging of every employee, every customer, every stakeholder, strategic partner, college, university, wherever you go. So this involves, so inclusion is basically a policy that will drive all this, right? Then moving on to the benefit of having DEI concept in an organization. Can we go to the next slide, please? Okay. So now you yourself can, understand or make your own perspective that how this can benefit an organization. I am talking about organization because I thought I will share the experiences that I have got from my previous companies or all this year, whatever experience I could gather. But this is a concept which will not only benefit you in your workplace, it will also benefit you wherever you are within the community. Your perspective, your ideas will change. You will start accepting the differences that others have. The things that you can see, others might not, because you are diverse. You are welcoming different ideas. So in daily basis, you are growing. Your ideas are growing. Your ideas are growing, bigger. So the major benefits that we have when it comes to DEI approach, it is very crucial for a business success, like I explained in the beginning, because behind the business success, the major important factor is a happy employee, a happy customer. Diverse diverse company, there have been lot of surveys that proves that diverse company outperform the non-diverse companies. The companies who still have, I'm sure none of the company who still have this mindset or have this limitations that only this portion of male should work, only this person of this sort of people should come and work. No company does that these days. Everybody has been diverse right now. Even the country, for the matter, if the country itself is not diverse, then I don't think all of us will get this opportunity. People from here go to different part of the world and work, achieve success, earn money. People from there come here and do the same. So diversity, equity, and inclusion, belonging, all this put together provides a bigger talent pool. It makes a company's platform so big that it provides n number of opportunities to people out there. People with their differences, people with their different skill set, people with their different competencies have been valued. It brings a new perspective and innovation to the table. When I hear 10 different ideas, I will come up with a very nice idea which might impact my business in a greater way. It makes a better decision making and improve performance. In a way, I'll like to add a little more here. I'll like to give a little example. I am just stuck with some of my problem, and I call my 10 different friends. Hey, you know what? I had this problem, and all my friends are giving their own ideas. They're sharing their experiences. You know what? Don't worry. I was caught up in even more bigger problem, but I came out of like that. It makes you feel good, right? You feel, okay, fine, then my problem is solved. I have got some ideas. I can solve this problem. No problem. This is the same scenario in your workplace as well. It results stronger business result and profit. 5.4 times of employee retention. Non-diverse companies have always faced this challenge of attrition. When I talk about attrition, it means the more number of employees you hire, you lose 10 times more than them. Right? When employees don't feel that their ideas, their presence or contribution are truly valued or taken seriously by the organization, they will eventually leave. Right? So these are the aspects that will make somebody stay longer in your organization. So retention is one of our key aspects. We would have studied in our concepts also, in our books also. Retention is one of the very big key aspects that we would like to, in future also, we would like to continue. And to retain somebody, we need to first understand that person's emotion. We need to value that person. Sometimes plenty of times it has happened. Just by giving more hike, just by promoting that person, we are unable to save him in our company. That person is still going. Then problem is something else. It's not the money. Right? So I think I have given a very fair understanding about the whole concept, why it is important in our organization. I would say this is as important as in our personal life as well. Then I will open this platform for all of you to raise your questions if you have any, or this platform is open to everybody to share their experiences, ideas, and I will be more than happy to answer all of you. Yeah, there is some question. Sure. So Sushmita wants to know if there are some of the inclusion strategy and employee engagement activity that is in practicing in my company. Yes, I gave that example. So we have launched this platform where we are allowing, so this is basically a platform which is a coffee talk, where we are allowing everybody across the globe come and share their experience, come and share their journey, and they'll not be judged under any circumstances. So their managers will not be part of that discussion if they are not comfortable. Otherwise, they can be. So they will share their journey starting from the day one till date, how they felt when they joined Atos. What are the challenges they have? Another initiative that we had taken is employee engagement activity, where whenever we feel that in a team or in a set of group, the overall performance is low, we don't blame the team. We don't blame the manager. We try to figure out what is the problem in the team. So we try to find out some, team building activities, and we ensure that they be part of the group. And we ensure that the person who is being part of the team, if that person is not been competent enough to perform the task, then what that person's skill set is, and we try and move that person, we shuffle that person to another team. So these are some of the activities that we have been doing, and we have also extended our hand to make sure that We hire more number of different community people. We have also started participating in some of the corporate social responsibility, I would say, wherein we are encouraging mid-school kids to be part of the learning program. So we drive SAP program where even somebody who is not from the domain can learn that and be part of the companies that they would want to aspire to work on. Kalyani, can you elaborate on what challenges you anticipate when you implement? Okay. So, bigger challenge. So, basically, let me tell you this DEI basically a change management. So, when we talk about change management, always there are challenges. Example, when I talk about diversity, there are a lot of cases where people have come and told me, or employees have come and told me, I think I have not been treated equally because I'm just a female. I think I have not been treated equally because, I'm a woman, I might get married tomorrow. So my manager is not giving me opportunity because he thinks that I might quit my job when I get married. So in those cases, we ensure whatever challenges the employee has or whatever reality, that's the reality, right? I cannot stop somebody from getting married. That doesn't mean that you stop giving opportunity. So we initiate a conversation with the manager. We try and ensure that the employee who has this kind of issue gets a opportunity, or we try and put the employee in a different team or different space where the person can able to work even after marriage. So we talk about the personal challenges as well, right? Then during this current scenario where work at home practice has been adopted by many organizations, what is the best possible way to promote the sense of belongingness in an employee? The best possible way is to communicate with them on regular basis. Conduct so many events that they part of the event. Like in the beginning, the launch program that I was talking about, that platform is about that. Since that we all are working from home, not being able to see each other on daily basis, our social interaction have been reduced. So we have created this platform where they come and talk everything, but not to work. We ensure that nobody talks about their work. We only focus that they talk about their experiences. How are they coping up in this pandemic? Is it comfortable or not for them to work from home? What are the challenges in their work from home? How is it going with the team? Because the social interaction have been reduced. So that is one of the best example I could give right now. How to handle situation where an employee is being culturally insensitive and unaccepting towards another employee, and how to ensure equity among such employees. So the best possible scenario is I would say I would like to share one of my experience. It's my own experience. So when I came down here, I studied here. I felt a little insensitive because I didn't know the language. So in my first company, I'm saying, so most of my colleagues, majority of my meeting used to happen in the local language, which I was not able to catch. So I started feeling that I don't belong to this team, only nobody talks to me. Nobody invites me for lunch. Then what I did is I started thinking, do I really have to worry about it that, nobody is paying attention to me? Then I started, performing. I started focusing on the work more. But that's when I started my career, my manager, she was from a different part of the country. So she gave me a very ideal scenario. She had changed me to a different team where people from all countries, all states were there. So there was no question of having a one common language, because nobody will understand each other's language if it comes to their local language. So that's when everybody started interacting in the common language where everybody will be able to understand. Then it's up to us, individual choice, whether we want to learn language or not. So that is why we ensure that in a team, we completely focus on diversity, not just by gender, by community, by language, by geographic aspects, so that these problems have been addressed. Right? So there are so many examples, right? When there have been cases where we have people working with us who have been who have physical disability. So we came up with the solution for them, because they are really talented, but just that they can't travel to office on daily basis. So what do? So we introduced long-term work from home policy for them, even before the pandemic. Now that the situation came where all of us are working from home, but earlier it was not a practice, because we had this PHI and all of this in the picture, where data security, cyber security was a bigger concern. So we did not allow our employees to log in from their home network, because there was a threat all the time. So before pandemic, when such cases came, there were cases where women just delivered and came back from maternity leave, but could not cope up in work. They had to rush back home because there's a small baby at home. They could not manage work and home together. So we introduced this long-term work from home policy, where they can take a break, they can work from home, they can work from home forever. We provided all the possible resource that could be possibly be given to the employee in that particular business, and we handle those situations. There are other situations where sustainability was a question mark. So we ensured that we addressed all this kind of differences on a common platform. It used to be majorly addressed by the leaders, because all of us follow the leader, right? So we ensure that we conduct a lot of training programs on this. We educate everybody. We provide enough clarity or ideas. So we introduce a lot of learning programs, so that all of us are aware of these concepts. All of us aware that these kind of concepts can bring us together. We need to travel together. I can't achieve myself by myself with my own effort. So yeah, I think, is there any more question? I would be happy to answer. If time permits, I think we have reached the time, if I'm not wrong.
Ma'am, I have a question.
Go ahead.
So you spoke about the language disparity thing, right? Where you had trouble when you first joined over here.
Yeah.
So I would like to share that I'm also not a very fluent Tamil speaker. So in a
Go ahead.
college setting, it's very casual, so it's not that big of a problem. But when I move to a professional setting, and I still have that language problem, so how do I make myself feel welcome? Like, I know even if the people are trying this, there still comes like a problem of belongingness. So
Well,
how do I deal with that, or how do I, as an HR, make sure that that doesn't happen?
Well, the first thing first, you have to change your mindset that somebody has to make you feel welcome. You have to make yourself feel welcome in the beginning. You know that you don't know language, you're not good with the language. It's okay, you have to survive here, you have to work with these people. You have to initiate a conversation with them with whatever language you are comfortable with. You have to show them that you are yourself. You don't want to change for under any circumstances. If you want this work to happen, you better tell me in my own understanding, whichever way that I can understand. You have to start mingling with the people. When you show yourself, you show your 100% to them, they will in return accept you. It's about what you give, what you get, right? It's a give and take policy in a relationship. So work culture is basically a relationship. You need to establish a relationship with your employers, with your colleagues, with your peers, with your managers. So when you stop thinking that, oh my God, I'm not able to understand what they're saying, oh my God, it's a problem for me, that is when your whole of this problem will be solved. You will have to majorly focus on yourself. You will have to ensure that whatever you want to achieve from this work, whatever you want to achieve from this team, or whatever you want to learn, you get it. So you have to go and tell them, you know what, I'm not able to understand exactly what are you trying to say. Can you explain me? So when you go and approach from your side, the other person will definitely think, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know that you don't know Tamil. Yeah, I was talking about this. That's how the conversation will start. It is the first step that we'll have to make. That is why we are conducting so many sessions to the employees, that when organization is making an effort to drive this throughout the culture, throughout the globe, it is an individual responsibility as well to understand these aspects and come out of the comfort zone. That is very, very important. You have to come out of the comfort zone. I'll tell you something. I was a person who was very much afraid of talking in front of a public. I had a stage fear. I can't believe myself today. I'm sitting here and talking to all of you. When I came for my education, I was not even able to speak make a proper sentence in English. I used to think 100 times before make a sentence. But again, I started thinking, oh my God, why am I behaving that way? I need to start learning. I need to put effort. When somebody sees you putting effort, they will in return come back to you and provide you with a very much welcoming environment. That is my personal feeling. I hope I answered you right.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. So there's one more thing that I wanted to ask. So since it's Pride Month, there is a large portion of people who are very against the entire LGBTQ plus concept. So how do we as a company make, I don't know, take care of that? What is your take on it?
Okay. So on this LGBTQ aspect, I think Microsoft has already started its journey towards it. They have already created a LGBTQ community where people from different sexual orientation and different gender can be part of it, and they're driving it every month once. So they used to arrange a big event on that. And another example I would like to give is in my own company itself. We have initiated this LGBT community. So this is an internal social platform that we have, where we have not extended it to outside, where we have ensured that people who support LGBT or people who have the different sexual orientation can be part of this. And the platform that we are giving today to all of these people to come and talk about their own experiences, differences, why they feel different, that also covers this. When they talk about the points on LGBT standpoint, no, the main agenda that we have in the beginning of the call, or expectation that we set, is nobody will judge. So they are able to now open up and express those feelings, which have been taken in a very positive way. In fact, some companies have started benefit programs according to that, having LGBT in mind. They are providing insurance services, they are providing benefits, services to the LGBT community itself, where you can include your dependent who is your boyfriend. You don't have to be married to that person. So all these aspects is a very modern approach, I would say. LGBT was not there long time back. When I was studying, I didn't know what it is. But now all of us have come together to understand the psychology behind it, the actual feelings behind it, and we are valuing it. Of course we are valuing it. The moment I say, go ahead, talk, I will not judge you, that's it, the problem is solved. The person feels welcome. So that's my take on this.
Right. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am, for the wonderful session. And now I request Ms. Maushmi, first year MHRM, to render the vote of thanks. Over to you, Maushmi.
Before you are a leader, success is all about growing yourself. When you become a leader, success is all about growing others. I, Maushmi of First MAHRM, take this wonderful opportunity to thank our esteemed speaker, Ms. Amrita, HR Manager, Atos Syntel, for sharing her valuable insights and knowledge on the topic diversity, equity, and inclusion. I would like to share a few key takeaways from today's session. Diversity is the process of difference within the setting. Equity is the process of treating everyone fairly. It ensures everyone gets a fair opportunity to showcase their talent. The main aim of inclusion is to embrace people irrespective of their race, gender, disability, etc. Belongingness is the outcome of implementing the diversity, equity, and inclusion component. It is the experience of being accepted, included, and being valued by others. Steps involved in implementing DE&I reveal relevant opportunities, elevate equity, activate diversity, and lead inclusively. We, as the future HRs, would really work on understanding provided by a lively speaker. Sharing is caring is an age-old tradition, is an age-old proverb. True to this thought, I would like to thank our PG Department of HRM Spiller, our HOD Dr. NC Martin for arranging this webinar, and our Professor Subatini for her support to organize this webinar, providing us with an enlightening tour to a pragmatic arena of HR. I extend my gratitude to participants from various professions and students. Kindly fill up the feedback form, which is provided in the chat with your name and email ID. Stay home, stay safe. Thank you all. Have a great day.
Thank you once again, everyone.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. It was a great session.